World Cup here in Hochfilzen. We hope the best for all teams and for you a great competition. This is our last one. It is the long Biathlon weekend.
Und nächste Riesen haben wir noch einen letzten Einstieg gemacht heute hier. Und zwar hat es etwas Unglaubliches gegeben. Michi Rösch, Olympiasieger für Deutschland, angestartet für Belgien, um jetzt zu kommentieren für WinterSports, ist den Kamin hochgeklettert.
Wurde gestern gefeiert, vierte Weltmeisterschaft eigentlich im Grenzgebiet Österreich.
5-6-4, oder?
Ja, aber es ist 5-6-4. Tredje dagen i rad han har tjatat mot det. 8-1-2. Han tycker det står högt namn. Hallå. Rör 4. 3-4 men arrive. 5-7-9. Alles gut. Danke. 3-1-2.
6-3 bei der Rifle.
8-7-7. Schon.
Was har du?
Då kommer jag ihåg vapenkontrollen i alla fall. Yes.
Ja, aber das ist klar.
35. Was war's das? 35. Ja, Spitze.
100% elektrisch.
Welcome back to Hochfilzen as we begin to bid farewell to the second stop of the BMW IBU World Cup, an iconic venue, one of the oldest on the circuit. Austria has hosted 2 brilliant days of action and the fans are out in their masses for this final day. And our final race of the weekend is the men's relay. Once again, alongside myself, Ellen Ellard, is former Team USA biathlete Chad Salmela. And, well, Chad, the snow continues to fall. Yeah, we saw some contrasting performances in the range in the women's relay as we see the athletes collect their skis. Here is the order of play. France going in bib number 1, having won in Contiolate. Well, quite almost a historic victory, but still a really important one over a Norwegian side who hadn't lost for three seasons almost. It was 12 races that they'd stood atop the podium for. A really brilliant run, and France so close to hitting 20 out of 20, 40 out of 40 even, just unable to do so in the final visit to the range. Sweden wearing bib number 3. And well, Chad, you look at France and Norway and the way they pack out the overall standings at the moment. They're going to be the two to watch today.
Yeah, these two are the definitive leaders of this competition comfortably. Both teams. So the worst ranked athlete of the 8 athletes between France and Norway is 11th place for Tarjei Bø in the overall standing. So everybody but Bø in the top 10 and one in the top 11. And no other team packs that kind of punch. So these teams are out there to do battle to try to take the win. Now, of course, anything can happen in a relay. So I still look to Sweden, Germany, and maybe even the United States to sneak in there if there's some problems at the top of the field.
Yeah, I've been keeping our eyes on the US team, particularly Campbell Wright and his spectacular performances over the course of the last 2 weeks. Here is the French team, of course, wearing bib number 1, Fabien Claude, leading the way. He was 3rd in the sprint on Friday. Stola Holmelaglide, who has 3 podiums this season and 2 from here in Hochfilzen, in really good form. Leading the way for Norway, Victor Blunt, leading out this Swedish team, who will be brought home by Sebastian Samuelsson.
The Norwegians going with a slightly different lineup. They had Endre Strømsheim in the 3rd stage. You see Germany, Justus Strelo, Simon Kaiser coming up from the IBU Cup, and that's an interesting add to the German team. Danilo Riethmüller, which we're not surprised. He's had a good breakout year. And then 7th place in the overall standing, Navrath for Germany. They could surprise. Here's the Finn quartet led by Jaakko Ranta and Sean Doherty going for the United States.
Yep, USA, bib number 6. And keeping a particular eye on the 2 young men, roommates going on leg 2 and 3.
Yeah, different lineup for the United States. You've got Campbell Wright, who went first up in Kontiolahti, where they finished 6th on the day. A good performance by the Americans. They're putting the most experienced athlete up in front now, Sean Doherty, to take the lead out. Here's the Swiss group. With fast skiers, not quite as solid shooters, though, and Austria, the home team, in bib number 9. These are all the bib numbers where they finished in the opening World Cup relay in Kontiolahti.
So 22 nations represented on the start line of our final race here in Hochfilzen. The snow continues to fall. Poised and ready to go. Our final race here in Hochfilzen. Stop number 2 on the 24-25 BMW IBU World Cup. France wearing bib number 1, Norway 2, Sweden 3. That reflecting the finishing positions from Kontiolahti. And Fabien Claude, who has shown good form this week in Hochfilzen. He'll be keeping one eye to the man tucked in behind him, Stola Holmelaglide, who has been incredibly consistent.
Yeah, the French are going with the exact same order that they won with in Kontiolahti. And why wouldn't you? You're going to go with the team that won before. Norwegians switched it up a little bit, though. They take Endre Strømsheim out of the order because Vebjørn Sørum has slightly outperformed Strømsheim this week, which is hard to believe. But Strømsheim goes to the bench, and they're going to putting the Norwegian, the least experienced Norwegian, in the last leg and trying to get him a lead. They're going to put Johannes Tinus Bø in the 3rd leg, so he'll match up against Eric Perrault, which is probably a little bit of a surprise to the French.
Yeah, Johannes Tinus Bø, of course, will be carrying the yellow bib over to Annecy next week.
And when the coaches are making these teams, they can't see what the other teams are putting on their relay card. They're just trying to guess at the matchup. So, I'm sure Norway was like, well, France is going to do what they did when they won last week. Let's maybe throw a curveball at them And we'll throw Johannes Tingnes out in the third leg this time, and maybe see if he can put a little pressure on Perot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that final matchup as well between Emilia Jacquelin and Vibjorn Sørlund. Of course, a dramatic finish to the mixed relay in Kontiolahti, with Vibjorn Sørlund edging it just before the line for Norway.
Italy off to the early lead after a really slow start. Finally, Lucas Hofer says, all right, enough, guys. I'm going to come to the front and I'm going to make this into a ski race. So the Italian, who's been on the World Cup for, it looks like probably, I'm going to take a look here and see how many years I got here. It looks like it's about 14 years, I think. But Hofer going to the front now in bib 10.
Yeah, it had started quite processionally, and some of the later bibs have said, enough of that. We want to push the pace here.
15 years. I got it right. I was well under. That's 15 years Lucas Hofer has been on the World Cup. So one of the longest standing members of the World Cup field. He has 433, does the man at the front. So he is approaching 500. Probably won't get there this year, but I'm guessing he's going to go to the Olympics. So he'll probably see that 500 mark sometime in the 2026 season.
Such an experienced figure leading the way for Italy, as the athletes to make their way up this climb and through the time check, the first time check at 1.1 kilometers, as it all begins to turn into one big line now.
Yeah, pretty reticent to lead with that snow. I mean, this first lap, there's not been anybody out there consistently skiing. You're clearly going to glide faster if you're in the middle or back of this pack than if you are at the front. So Lucas Hofer kind of taking on probably 1 or 2% more load just by skiing on the new snow.
And he leads the train of athletes.
You can actually see the advantage of following by people stepping out, because they glide up on the person in front of them, immediately slowing down as they step into that new snow.
So 3 laps in each leg, 2 visits to the range, prone and standing.
Check. And or second time check, I should say. At the 1.6 kilometer mark, Hofer continues to lead, but everybody's still pretty much together at this point.
Yep, still a tight-knit pack. 10 seconds, just over, covering the 22 athletes. With the small number ones next to their bib numbers, denoting them as the first athletes out on the course in this men's relay. And the noise.
We keep watching on these downhills now to see if there's anybody charging forward. Maybe one team has gotten a better waxing and structure solution for their skis than another team, and see if there's any advantages. This is definitely even more snow than the women dealt with.
Yeah, it started falling, as Chad said earlier, just in the first half of the women's race, and then really got heavier and heavier, particularly through the last 2 legs. And the men are having to really contend with it now out on the tracks.
You can see in the distance there, that last shot, there's some break in the clouds on the left side, socked in on the right side, and that's just kind of life in the Alps in the wintertime. It's like when the front moves in, it can sock you into a valley like this and just snow for a little while, and that's what we're dealing with today on this final day. It's been sunny and beautiful here. We've had rain, or near rain, or no rain, but near over freezing temperatures, but today is very wintry, and it's winter sport. It's the best. It's great to see winter actually landing in Central Europe.
Yeah, we've had it all, haven't we, as we've moved down from the dark of East Finland into the sun briefly on the first day here in Hochfilzen, and the snow moving in for this final day of action. So our leading chain coming into the range for the first time.
Again, remember to shoot on the bib number, and then every shooting stage after that for the rest of the competition, they'll line in the order they come in the standings. So if you're bib number 19, like Alexander Mukin, you're going to lay down pretty quickly, maybe even get your shots down before Sturleholm Lagrad or anything, Fabian Claude get their shots. So here, should start hearing his first shots any second now.
Fabian Claude taking his time. Miss for Sweden. Germany clean.
Germany clean fast.
Yeah, Norway and France clean too. Finland and Sweden with those first misses, but Victor Blunt now on his way.
Norway in a second, just 0.8 back. Dovzhan of Slovenia. Sean Doherty having a hard time from the prone position. Got one shot to stay out of the penalty loop and kind of keep the United States in this, and he just shy of the penalty loop.
But it is a penalty loop for Switzerland.
So a good start for the German team. Justus Strelo, clean. Maybe finding a little bit of inspiration from the women this morning.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to get back to the heights and the standards he set last season in terms of shooting. His accuracy really dropping off at the start of this season. Need to get back into that form.
Back to shooting time. Dovzhan, the fastest shooter in 20.2 seconds. Strelo, the second fastest. So Strelo, the fastest amongst the three at the front of the field. Lagrad right behind him, though, at half a second slower than Strelo on the range. A lot of time can be lost in the relay legs on the shooting range. We saw that in the women's competition pretty obviously in some of the struggles that folks had from their standing bout.
Sturleholm Lagrad leading Justus Strelo and Fabian Claude. Dovzhan has dropped back to that trailing group. You can see him there in the next group of three.
Get some good teams up there that you don't normally see them, and likely won't stay there for the whole race. But Dovzhan of Slovenia in that chase pack after shooting one, but Sturleholm Lagrad back at the front of the field now. And Belgium in there as well with Thierry Longer.
You can see Victor Blunt just go through your screen as well. One miss in that first visit to the range.
Brunt doing a good job with that miss, though, to stay, at least keep it close. His job is, Victor Brunt is not anywhere near the ski speed of the rest of his quartet. In fact, he's % off of that speed. He knows that his job is to try to just get Sweden within striking distance of the top two if possible.
Yeah, not too dissimilar a story to what we saw in the women's relay earlier on today. Justus Strelo leading this group of three. Lagrad, Fabian Claude behind him, and then Thierry Longer.
One of the things that's great about this relay is you can look at all the statistics, you can look at the standings of the World Cup, you can look at the shooting statistics, but the fact of the matter is there's a dynamic to it. And it's a short event, just 7.5 kilometers, so the athletes can maybe burn their matches a little bit differently than they might in an individual longer competition. And the circumstances, circumstances really affect the outcomes in a relay far more than any other event on the repertoire of the sport.
And it looks like Thierry Longer has found his way onto the back of this leading group of three. It now becomes four. He had that top 10 finish in the short individual in Kontiolahti, just missing once. That PB performance for him by 6 places. Started the season well. clean shooting in the sprint here, finishing 18th.
Yeah, he's doing very well, and he's kind of like taking advantage of the fact that Strelo wants to lead. You've got two much stronger skiers following Strelo, in Fabien Claude and Sturleholm and Lagride. So the pace may be dawdling just a little bit with Strelo at the front, and Thierry Langer thought, why not? And why not go with the leaders?
So group of 4, and then 4.4 seconds back to Hornig. Czechia is the 5th placed athlete, 1 miss to his name.
Yeah, Hornig kind of has, we haven't talked much about him, but he's having a great season so far. He's currently ranked 25th in the standings overall. For him, that's a big step forward from 92nd last year. So the 25-year-old really making a name. At least on the ski speed, he's improved quite a bit from last season. He used a +3 on the ski speed last season to a -2, a 5% increase in his ski speed for the 25-year-old from the Czech Republic. His shooting is solid too. He's 84% shooter, so trying to keep the Czech team in the picture at the front. He's just off the back. There's Hornig right there.
Yep, just off the back, and then there's 3 seconds from him back to Dovzan. Hornig really fighting to make this leading pack a 4-5.
Really coming down.
Yeah, conditions worsening again. But it's
They got a lot. Go ahead.
just Strelo doing all the hard work at the front while the others tuck in behind.
One of the things that organizers have in spades are people to sweep the mats on days like today. They'll probably shift some volunteers over to the shooting range so that every mat gets cleaned before the prone shooting and before the standing too, so it's not slippery while they're standing on the skis. But those mats can become very slippery with the snow on them, and when it's snowing this fast, that snow will accumulate very quickly. So I'm guessing the mat's just getting a fresh sweep right before the athletes enter the stadium.
And our leading athletes now making their way into their final shoot, standing shoot for this first leg. And then there'll be one more lap before they hand over. And you can see the wind has picked up as well. Miss for Justus Strelo. 3 out of 3 for Fabien Claude. He misses now. Sturleholm Lagride has gone clean. And Norway into the lead, while France and Germany have to dip into the spare rounds. Estonia clean as well. But plenty of extra rounds used up there. Italy in round the penalty loop.
Sweden gets out of there without a miss. I think Brandt was probably sweating a little bit. Time ticking for Sweden. It's 23 seconds for Victor Brandt. 23.7 seconds. United States still struggling. Sean Doherty has a miss into the extra rounds. And he gets it with 1 extra. But Sturleholm Lagride came in and did exactly what he needed to do. He knocked it down and made it no question that Norway is in control.
Yep, and the Norwegian, 3 podiums already this season, 2 this week. Out in the lead. Take a look back at his final shoot.
.96% accurate this season. He didn't do anything to hurt his shooting statistics today from standing. There's the miss from Strelo. That was close, just inside. Center hit on that 4th shot. I would say that miss, just the fact that he's shooting so quickly. When you're that close to the target, oftentimes it's just a matter, you're probably pulling this trigger fine, but your hold just isn't quite on the target yet. But now some daylight for Lagride.
Yep. You can now see the distant figures of Juste Strelo and Fabien Claude come into shot there. 8.7 seconds was the gap that Stella Holmler-Glide had over the pair of Juste Strelo and Fabien Claude coming out of his final shoot. Next checkpoint will be 6.1 kilometres. Fabien Claude desperately trying to close the gap.
Yeah, now these athletes are going for it. There's nothing to hold back. The first 2 laps of skiing were really quite pedestrian. You can see it particularly in the first loop. And then just the tactical nature of it, nobody really wanted to push the second loop either. And that's why Thierry Longer could catch up to Strelo. And now Stella Holmler doesn't have anything to hold back for. He's going to go for it, as is Fabien Claude. And you see that is going to affect Strelo. Strelo being dropped now by the Frenchman.
Yeah. Fabien Claude has decided this is the time to launch his attack. So keep your eyes on the clock. 8.7 seconds was the gap. It's 8.4 now. Norway leading from France. Just a Strelo on the first leg for Germany.
Jacques of Estonia, the first of the surprises. There's always a surprise in the first leg of a relay.
Yep, doing really well. Shooting clean. Estonia in 4th. Thierry Longer is leading a pack of 4 behind. And then it's Todev of Bulgaria in 9th.
I have to say, job well done by Victor Brandt. He's Sweden. He's only 27 seconds back. That is a solid performance. Probably not a perfect performance, but it has Sweden in contention for the podium.
Yeah, 3 extra rounds. But still within 30 seconds.
Logan Pletz with a good performance for Canada. In the 11th spot, just 51 seconds back. Young Canadian team on the men's side.
Yeah, 9th in Kontiolahti. My mistake, 22nd, the bib they're wearing. It's David Kormats and Austria who are in bib 9, currently in 12th. So the gap closing. Stella Holmler-Glide now 7.8 seconds ahead of Fabien Claude. Just a Strelo in no man's land as the group behind battle to reel him in. In the middle of that pack is Victor Blunt in bib 3. I'll hand over to Jesper Nalin. With Stella Holmler-Glide making a really strong start to the season in terms of individual performances.
Tarjei Bø going to take this start order for the quartet, and certainly at 11th ranked in the world, it's not a bad thing, but he is the weakest link. Hard to believe that Tarjei Bø is the weakest link for any team, but he is. And most teams would take him as their strongest link, but he will go out second for this Norwegian squad. Yep,
10th yesterday in the pursuit. Got an 8th in the mass start, 7th in the sprint in Kontiolahti. And also 2 finishes outside the top 20. Will start his race in the lead through the range, but not stopping on this final lap.
You can certainly tell the difference between coming in to shoot and coming into exchange. Lagarde looks behind him, trying to see if he's done any damage. It's been a pretty even match on this last leg.
Yep, a quick look over the shoulder as he taps the back of Tarjei Bø. France hand over, Quentin Fillon-Maillet.
6.3 seconds the gap. Claude doing a little bit to close. He gained 2 seconds on Lagrade, but here is Germany, and they have lost time in this last loop. They're down to 20 back now. About 2 extra rounds, roughly, or around extra round and a half to load, 20 seconds. Just putting it in functioning terms of time.
Yeah, so regularly we look at the ability to carry the extra rounds as a bit of a get out of jail free card, but it does take its time to load, and particularly in these kinds of conditions we saw in the women's competition, that can pose plenty of its own challenges.
Well, if you look at the gap, 0-0 for Norway. Lagrade shoots perfectly 10 for 10. Claude had to use 11 shots to get 10 down, and the gap was 6 seconds. So range time and ski time together, Claude getting the better of Lagrade, but Lagrade does biathlon the best today to lead by 6 seconds.
Simon Eder taking up the charge for Austria, coming in at the same time as Canada and the USA as well.
Well, the nice thing about this new rule with the leg winner of each relay winning some prize money, extra prize money, is if you're leg number one, you know when you've won the prize money. You've come across the line and tag first, so still at home, Lagrade will take a little bit of a cash bonus today for being the top leg one finisher. Now interested to see this duo do battle.
Yeah, Quentin Fillon-Maillet, one podium this season. That was the mass start in Contiolate, finishing second, 3 misses on the day. Flower ceremony in the short individual, finishing 5th, and of course part of the winning team in this event just over a week and a half ago.
Statistics so far from skiing this season, Quentin Fillon-Maillet at a 2% advantage over Tarjei-Bø. And we're seeing that play out in real time right now, Ellen, is the gap that Tarjei-Bø had at the start is already pretty much diminished at the first time check. 0.6 seconds back now, the French to the Norwegian.
Yeah, the only time Norway didn't top a podium last season, well, that was at the World Championships. They won every World Cup relay last season. An incredible stretch, an incredible streak that went back almost 3 seasons before France took victory in Contiolate, and well, Norway desperate to get back on top.
Simon Kaiser, the German, getting his 3rd start in a World Cup in the relay for Germany. With the pressure of the women winning this morning, that's a pretty big step for the second leg for Simon Kaiser, but doing well so far. He left the exchange zone 20 seconds back. He's at 8.6 kilometers. He's 19.6, so he's actually making a time, making a second on Tarjei-Bø.
Yeah, performing well on the skis in the last couple of days. Getting a call up after 3rd in the individual and 4th in the pursuit in the IBU Cup in Yalo.
It's a long trip from Yalo to Hochfilzen to race the relay. Here's Kaiser. Maybe he has a little bit of travel in his legs. Doing well, staying at 20 seconds back. He's not letting anything go here. Here's Kaiser.
And here's the pack of 6 athletes. Slovenia, Sweden, Belgium, Bulgaria, Czechia, and Estonia. But out in front, France and Norway. And Chad, this is exactly how we expected things to pan out at this stage of the race.
Yeah, if you look at the way these teams are handicapped, this is what you're going to see. This is what we expected to see. It's going to be tight all the way to the finish line. They're basically, if you add up all their World Cup standings into 4 groups, you've got France with 26 as their score, and you got Norway with 22. That's negligible, the difference. But Norway is on paper slightly better. But when I say slightly, it's very slightly.
Simon Kaiser, 25-year-old, is in pursuit all by himself. It's a tough solo battle. Just focusing on his own race at this point, with these two so far out in front. 20 seconds the gap through 9.1 kilometers, and then 20 seconds back from Simon Kaiser is Jakob Fack.
These two athletes have been through every kind of test the sport has given them. Tarjei Bu, one of the oldest athletes on the circuit. Simon Ader, the only more experienced athlete than Tarjei Bu, and Quinton Fillon-Maillet has won and lost just about anything there is to win and lose in the sport. Let's see how they do battle here in Hochfilzen.
Yep, side by side. Fillon-Maillet, Tarjei Bu. The first miss for Quinton Fillon-Maillet. 3 out of 3 for Tarjei Bu. And he goes clean. Fillon-Maillet dropping into the spare rounds. And we'll have to keep our eyes on the time. Kaiser now.
I counted in my head about 9 seconds for that spare round. That's quick for Quinton Fillon-Maillet for the extra round. Kaiser just has to keep it clean to limit the damage. He wants to give Philip Navrath a chance in the last leg, but there's a miss, and that puts them further back, and now a threat from about 6 other teams.
Good start from Jakob Fack. Taking his time before the third, though.
Back in extra rounds. Bulgaria misses the last shot. Sweden goes clean.
Belgium quick clean as well. Czechia, USA come into the range with Maxime Germain.
So watching Sweden coming from behind, they've got Samuelsson and Ponsaloma off the podium by just 12 seconds. The American goes clean.
As we take another look at our 2 leaders. Nothing between them as they came into the range and dropped down into the prone position, but Tarjei Bu leaving the range with a 7.2 second advantage. Going to this fine shooting performance.
Extra round here. Let's see how he did it very quickly. Pretty tough to get those extra rounds in with the gloves on. It's not the easiest thing. You have to practice it for sure. These athletes practice loading those extra rounds all summer and fall for just this reason.
So Jesper Nalen now just under 12 seconds behind Simon Kaiser.
And Nalen will probably have Falk with him in tow.
Yeah, just 0.4 of a second between those two as they exited the range. You can see the German just entering the picture.
True to script this race so far, but what we expected.
Yep, he'll have plenty of support out on the range, Simon Kaiser, and you can see the other athletes flooding in now. Jakob Fack and Jesper Nalen leading Malacek and Claude.
Malacek, the youngest member of the Czech team, 23 years of age. Top individual performance was a 22nd. just yesterday in the pursuit. Coming off his personal best, so Marcek has earned his spot on that Czech team.
Simon Kaiser carrying the momentum well.
Kaiser doing the job. Left the shooting range, 32 back, so he lost about 13 seconds in the range to the leaders based on coming in. He came in at 20 back, so stays at 31. So Kaiser's skiing pretty much right on with Tarjei Bø and Quentin Fillon-Maillet.
Yep, and Jesper Nalen hasn't been able to eat any time into the leader. Left at 44.9 at 11.1 kilometers. He's still at 44.9.
And you know the coaches in Germany, they're holding their breath as Kaiser's out there. Did they make the right choice? And if you make a coach feel that way, they're going to remember that down the road when they need to make a decision again, and you're on the block.
And he's doing well to hold third place for Germany. Tarjei Bø and Norway leading the way. Quentin Fillon-Maillet, 3.8 seconds now. He's really turning the screw and upping the pace.
Yeah, he looks good. You can see Quentin Fillon-Maillet is kind of finding that form that we've been wondering where it's been. He's looking better than the second half of last season, where he was a little weak on the skis, which affected his shooting. Now Kaiser has to hold off Jesper Nalen and Jakob Falk, who are chasing. Doing a good job so far. Keeping the gap at about 15 seconds to the chasers.
Yeah, they hadn't gained any time, and they've actually lost time. 48.1 seconds now, so they've lost around 4 seconds.
So Kaiser proving to be, at least so far, a very good choice for the German team as they stay in the third and bronze medal position. Kaiser, 80% standing shooter. That's solid.
25th yesterday in the pursuit, missing 2. Finished 38th to qualify for that race, and this just his third World Cup start.
80% standing shooting for Tarjei Bø this year, 84 for Quentin Fillon-Maillet, so pretty evenly matched there. 4% advantage to the Frenchman.
And once again, nothing between these two as they head back into the range for the final time on this leg.
Nearing the halfway point of this men's relay.
One more lap to go before they hand over after this visit to the range. Still plenty of movement in those red flags. Just taking a glimpse at them as pulls onto the mat. It's quickly into position for Fillon-Maillet. Miss for Fillon-Maillet. Miss for Tarjei Bø.
Ooh, battle. The thinking happened. You see Tarjei Bø started thinking and he resettled, but he did it very quickly. France is out.
Well, complete contrast to their last visit to the range. This time it's Quentin Fillon-Maillet who takes the lead with 1 lap to go. Another miss from Tarjei Bø.
Very uncharacteristic of Bø, trying to settle his nerves, and he realizes he's got chasers on the range coming from behind too. Oh!
So close, Simon Kaiser nearly following him out. Steadies himself, and just 1 spare needed in the end.
Well done, Simon Kaiser. Oh,
first miss for Jakob Falk. So just looking at the times, Talia Bo 22.3 seconds behind Phil Maillet. And still Jesper Nalen struggling.
And then he ejects her around, costing him more time. This is not what Sweden needed. Quick to the shot, though, once he gets it in. The United States has entered the range. Maxime Germain goes 5 for 5.
The USA climbing up the order. And you can see Maxime Germain there whistle past the back of the picture. As finally now, Jesper Nalen back on his skis, but he's got to go around the penalty loop once.
Oh, it's so hard for the Swedes to see that happen. Nalen will certainly put Sweden out of the picture now. Get a look at Quentin Fillon-Maillet's shooting. Very quick to the first shot. Just on autopilot there. That miss, again, just probably didn't quite have it on target yet. When you're shooting that quickly, a cadence under 2 seconds per shot, it's basically a reaction shooting. You're just getting the hold onto the target while you're squeezing the trigger and hoping that it's there when it hits the target, when the sight picture's there. Very opposite of pointing and shooting. You're actually just kind of in a roll. But you need a lot of confidence to do that in this setting. A lot of experience, too.
So those splits you can see on the bottom of your screen are as the athletes left shooting 4. That's their final shooting stage for these athletes currently out on the course. And you have to give a word to Maxime Germain of the USA team, taking over in 12th. They're now up into 7th. Phil Maillet, the leader.
Maxime Germain, the fastest shooting time of that standing shoot, 22.9 seconds. He's gained 5 seconds on Quentin Fillon-Maillet and 47 seconds, or he's gained 27 seconds on Talia Bu just in the shooting range.
And,
amazing.
Next up for the USA, Campbell Wright, holder of the blue bib in the individual competitions. Keep your eyes on the gap here. 19.9 seconds, Talia Bu.
He's making time.
Yep, 2.4 seconds. He's closed the gap by. Here's Simon Kaiser. .33 seconds, so he's gained a couple of seconds as well. And, well, holds a fairly solid gap as Jakov Fak rounds the corner.
Bach kind of in no man's land in the 4th spot, 20 seconds out of the medal, or 18 seconds out of the medals. Nobody to ski with in front of him. Maxime Germain, though, putting down a good performance to put the United States back into a respectable 6th place finish where they finished the first World Cup in Kontiolahti.
Yep, 6 on his chest. They're in 6th place. At 74.9 seconds down on Quentin Fillon-Maillet, but he's done so well to really cut the deficit. And so much of that done in the range. And 1.3 seconds now. Talia Bu. That gap yo-yoing, going back and forth, not consistently able to close it. Talia Bu.
Fillon-Maillet doing his job, struggled from the prone, but then put the Norwegians in the back seat in the standing position.
Yeah, really solid performance from Fillon-Maillet. Eric Perrault, he briefly held the yellow jersey last week. And of course started in Hochfilzen in it. He will be next up for the French team.
Great battle forming here between Eric Perrault. I want to say Franck, his dad. I knew his dad, a contemporary of mine from France. But Eric Perrault is going to go up against the great Johannes Tingesbø. He's going to have about a penalty loops worth of time on the great Norwegian. Sets up for a great handicapped event between these two athletes.
It is indeed. Looking at the skiing performances so far this season, it is now Johannes Tingesbø who tops the table. After taking his time to really announce himself back here on the World Cup. He is in excellent form in Hochfilzen. 2 out of 2 in terms of victories.
Nice step forward on the weekend for Quinton Fillon-Maillet. Had 4 misses in both the sprint and the pursuit. Wasn't able to crack the top 20 here so far, but that was a great performance in the relay. So getting something out of this stop in Austria is Quinton Fillon-Maillet.
Yeah, looking over his shoulder is Johannes Tingesbø. As his older brother comes around the corner, Talia Bo. The gap at the exchange, 27.3 seconds. Not far behind Germany. Less than 10 seconds in it between Norway and Germany. A brilliant skiing performance from Simon Kaiser, stepping up from the IBU Cup.
Yeah, I thought that was a very mature performance by Kaiser, especially considering the fact that he's never really been in that position. But this is the surprise so far. The Slovenians in 4th and inside a minute at the halfway mark.
Yeah, we saw them shoot up the table in the women's race. They weren't able to maintain that position, but on to leg 3 now. And Slovenia in a very good position indeed. Anton Vidmar.
Vladimir Iliev checking in for the Bulgarian team. Solid performance for them. They're wearing bib 16. They're up into 5th. The United States in 6th with Belgium in tow.
Yep, Campbell Wright with Beauvais. Desperate to tag onto the back of him as they leave exchange.
There's that shake-up in the order we talked about. This Campbell Wright going 3rd. Excuse me. Jake Brown will bring up the caboose of the American squad, and Sweden 155 out in 10th at the halfway mark. That's the surprise.
Yep, very unexpected. Wearing bib number 3. But 6 extra rounds and 1 penalty loop.
Winner of leg 2, Quinton Fillon-Maillet by 21 seconds over Jakob Fox. Simon Kaiser 3rd. Maxime Germain 4th. Tardia Bo 5th. Those are the leg times. And Quinton Fillon-Maillet will take home that prize money for the second leg.
And here is Eric Perrault through his first time check, 16.1 kilometers. Johannes Tingesbø, who has really found his stride, you have to feel, is chasing young Eric Perrault.
I'm still interested to see how both changes in fitness, if at all, between now and the World Championships in Lenzerheide in February. Here's Danilo Riedmüller now for Germany. Got the tag at 36.1. He's lost just 0.6 of a second, so hanging even. And the Slovenian skier, Anton Vidmar. Lost 3 seconds in that first 1.1 kilometers of his first lap of 3. So Eric Perrault now with a nice lead. What kind of mental capacity can he hang on to with the man The myth, the legend, chasing from behind. That's a big pressure situation for Perrault.
Yeah, it is indeed. He'll have had time once, of course, the start lists were released to have a think about how he wants to approach this leg with Johannes Tingesbo quick in pursuit. 3 seconds has already eaten into the advantage of Eric Perrault. Danilo Rietmuller is dropping back slightly by just over a second and a half.
Yeah, small drop by Rietmuller. But nothing to get concerned about yet for the Germans. The biggest thing is keep the shots going down for the Germans. There's 0+3 total on the day. So 3 extra rounds. Norwegians have used 2 and the French have used 3.
Winner of the mass start in Kontiolahti.
Relative amount of experience for his age, Perrault. He's been in pressure situations and come through in the past. So he's a good young guy to have on your relay squad. And certainly somebody who's going to win a lot more World Cups. Beautiful skier. Great alignment, hips are high. Great weight transfer, using his body weight to his advantage. Technically speaking, probably the best French technical skier on this biathlon team right now.
94% standing shooting, 90% pro, and he started obviously this weekend in Hochfilzen really strongly after only missing 1 in each race in Kontiolahti. Just over around a fortnight ago, and well, now after yesterday, I think he's looking to get back to where he knows he can do in terms of shooting, dropping 4 to finish 12th in the pursuit.
Got to shake and remember who he was last week when he won. Perrault trying to hang on to the lead in the face of Johannes Tingesbo, who's lining up next to him.
Really quick on the trigger, and there's a miss. Dips into the extra rounds. Johannes Tingesbo yet to get his first shot away. Now he does. Another miss from Perrault. 3 out of 3 for Johannes Tingesbo. Danilo Rietmuller dropping down into prone position. And Johannes Tingesbo is clean. Leaves at the same time as Eric Perrault. Perrault with 2 extra rounds used.
I get the image of a piranha with blood in the water. You can tell that Johannes Tingesbo can smell the blood in that situation. And Rietmuller now with a fear of possibly unraveling, starting with 2 misses from the prone. Gets the next 3 though. That's a good comeback. Just realized it has settled down.
Anton Widmar has joined him.
Oh, and miss for the Germans. Now he's got 2 shots to get it down before he goes to the penalty loop. Can Rietmuller put it together? He gets the first. It's either hit or a loop here.
Well, the doors opened for Slovenia, and Anton Widmar, who will come out ahead of the German.
And this is for a podium. It's huge. Campbell Wright might be smelling that blood in the water too. Trying to knock these down quickly and get into that 3rd place fight. Oh, and he drops the 5th shot.
A disappointing miss on the last for the American. How can he recover? There we go. He's away. Bulgaria away. Belgium now as well. They're all flooding out the range.
With Widmar and Rietmuller fighting it out for the 3rd spot. Neither of those athletes are really used to this kind of pressure. Wright, Sinopov, and Beauvais have a shot to put the United States back into medal contention. 3 misses off the start for Martin Ponsel, and the Swedes it's not getting any better for them.
No. Performances started to improve this week for Martin Ponsaloma. doesn't have to visit the penalty loop, but certainly lost a fair bit of time there using all his extra rounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough day for the Swedes. Samuelsson's going to have it's over 2 minutes back now as Ponsaloma. The United States just is 30 seconds out of the time of the Czech Republic in third. Right, Riek Müller following third by 3 seconds for Germany. So get a look at Johannes Tingesbø's shooting. Everything a little low. Sometimes the athletes are a little more warmed up. Your body changes a little with warm muscles and muscles that are working, and maybe you sag in your position just a little bit. That might explain why he's right on the low half of his target. Some athletes just naturally do that. I actually, when I competed, I zeroed about 2 clicks high at center because I knew I would come down and settle down 2 clicks lower than when I zeroed.
Nothing between Eric Perrault and Johannes Tingesbø. And the gap so evident to the next two athletes, Danilo Müller and Anton Vidmar of Slovenia. So keep your eyes on the time here. Danilo Müller just opening a slight gap on Vidmar behind.
Yeah, Vidmar's skiing is kind of the weakness of the Slovenian team. He's even with the average time of the field, whereas Riek Müller is a little quicker. Riek Müller skis at 3% faster than the average, so he's got a 3% ski advantage so far this year on the man he just overtook.
Now back with our leaders, where Johannes Tingesbø is now in the driving seat. And Eric Perrault, well, he'll just want to cling on here, keep his eyes truly focused on the back of Johannes Tingesbø.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where you have to realize if you're Eric Perrault, you can't do anything about Johannes Tingesbø. All you can do is measure yourself. Where am I? How hard am I trying? And where's my headspace when I come in to shoot? That's the best thing he can do, because Johannes Tingesbø is going to be Johannes Tingesbø, and he's either going to be awesome or he's going to be beatable. But you can't really force that. He doesn't have the experience to force Bø into that position.
So here's the athletes in third and fourth. Riek Müller and Anton Vidmar.
Campbell Wright following these guys by 30 seconds, leaving the shooting range. So he's going to need some misses from Vidmar and Riek Müller and be perfect again. Hit 5 for 6 in the prone. And there are the German and the Slovenian right there, coming to the high point of the course before they head back down to the shooting range.
Yeah, Campbell Wright holding that 30-second gap. So when you look at the work that him and Maxime Germain have done to get back up now to fifth, it was started wearing bib number 6, and it was 12th place where Maxime Germain took over on the second leg. They're now into fifth, looking at potential of a really strong performance once again from the Americans. So Eric Perrault, Johannes Tingesbø into the range, their final visit, standing position. Pull in side by side, almost completely synchronized. A miss for both to start. Perrault shooting quicker. Johannes Tingesbø drops another and another. 3 misses for the Norwegian while Eric Perrault is away.
What was I saying about not being able to teach him anything? Well, Perot just forced his hand, and Boo chasing now.
Well, he's really struggling here. Can he get the final hit, or will it be a trip to the penalty loop for Johannes Tingersbo?
Avoids disaster.
Wow, wow, wow. And how things can change in the blink of an eye.
Well, I will admit my first guess is wrong, and my first guess was wrong on that one. I didn't think Perot had the ability to flip the table on Johannes Tingersbo. That's exactly what he did now, and he's got 18 seconds on the great Norwegian.
And so one final lap for Eric Perot, leading 18.2 seconds, as you say, Chad, from Johannes Tingersbo. Danilo Rietmøller with a miss, and another. Vidmar just starting.
Vidmar trying.
Him, yeah.
Vidmar trying not to think, knowing he's got an opportunity here. Oh, Vidmar with 4 for 5 and a penalty loop for Germany. It's all coming apart on the shoulders of Danilo Rietmøller, and Vidmar improbably has Slovenia in the bronze medal position with a go and another leg.
Exceptional. And it'll be once around the penalty loop for Danilo Rietmøller. A miss for Campbell Wright. Damage control now. What can he do? Keeps a cool head, and Campbell Wright is away now.
Just outside the ability to catch third place, though. He'll move into fourth for the United States if Danilo Rietmøller skis off his penalty loops. But just a little too far from the podium. Can Jake Brown bring him back in?
It will all come down to the final legs in terms of the podium positions. And when we say that, we're looking at the podium position of third, because Johannes Tingersbo and Norway 18.2 seconds, and then it's a whole 60 seconds back to Slovenia and Anton Vidmar. So back with Eric Perot. And look who's flying around the corner in the background. Johannes Tingersbo, wow, 9 seconds. He's half the gap. It's not over yet.
Oh, I think he's going to catch him. He looks good. This is the Johannes Tingersbo we've been waiting to see. He is on a tear now. This is that tempo, that pace that I've been missing in watching him ski all this season so far.
He's just slowly been picking it back up. He didn't arrive with the pace, but now he finds himself statistically the quickest skier on the circuit. And particularly when he's got his eyes dialed in to an athlete ahead, this is when we've seen some of the best of Johannes Tingersbo in terms of skiing performances.
Perot still looking great, but Bø is flying. You can see the Norwegian coach egging him on this climb. Look at the difference in tempo and the power applied to the snow. It's only a matter of meters that Johannes Tingersbo is going to take the lead from Perot.
Yep, it's 5.7 seconds now. He left the range, 18.2, and he's just eating into the time.
And he knows it. The difference between how this feels and how the rest of the season so far has felt on the skis. Look at the difference in Bø, just flying up this hill.
The pace he's carrying up the climbs is brilliant. It's mesmerizing to watch.
I think an untrained eye can see the difference I'm talking about from the last few races. It's amazing how he is now primed. And now look out, world. Johannes Tingersbo has got his engine firing.
He has clicked into gear. And once again, Johannes Tingersbo is the man to beat. So we won't get another time check before the exchange, but you can see the naked eye there just how quickly the gap is continuing to close, and he looks so hungry, doesn't he? He is laser focused on the back of Eric Perrault.
And when that fitness comes, it feels so good. You can tell that Johannes Ingebrigtsen is loving what he's doing right now. It hurts, but he's loving what he's doing because he's asking his body to do what he wants to do, and it's really delivering the way he knows how at the very best of his ability.
Yeah, when he spoke in the last 2 days after his podium, well, the 2 victories here in Hochfilzen, he's said about the challenge and how much it's getting harder and harder to beat the opposition. And he says it with that wry smile on his face, and you really believe that having this competition and having it to be such quality, even outside of the Norwegian team, is something that he really enjoys as he pulls up alongside Eric Perrault. Now we're looking expectantly as well at the times for leg 3, and surely Johannes Ingebrigtsen will be taking home the prize money.
Even with those missed shots, he's like you said, mesmerized us with his skiing. And now Bjørn Sørum has the distinct task of taking on Emilien Jacquelin for the victory.
Yeah, but Emilien Jacquelin taking an interesting line there and getting caught up behind Johannes Ingebrigtsen. Not the cleanest exchange we've ever seen.
And Bjørn Sørum is clearly not taking it out fast. They know they have a gap of 1 minute and 30 seconds to anybody else. So a little bit of cat and mouse I think we're going to see here between the Norwegian and the Frenchman.
You wonder whether, with sort of reflecting on yesterday though, Emilien Jacquelin, you won't want to leave it too late to try and secure this win for France if there's anything that he can do about it.
Yeah, Sørum is the least experienced of the 2 for sure, but he's been skiing really competitively so far this season.
And of course, he had the edge over Emilien Jacquelin in the final 50 metres of the mixed relay in Kontiolahti. The Norwegian just edging it.
Not sure what Jacquelin was doing there. It looked like he was adjusting something on his boot or his binding as he was gliding along there. There he's doing it again. So the system that he is on with the Matsu's brand, they've created a new, almost clap skate sort of ski boot. And I'm wondering if Jacquelin is having a problem with that boot. As Slovenia in sole possession of 3rd.
And in an incredible performance from the Slovenian team. Well, there wasn't something quite right about the exchange for France as well, and you just wonder whether Emilien Jacquelin had some problems with his ski and with his boot before he took to the course. There's Sweden handing over 2 minutes and 9 seconds down on the pace of the leaders.
Campbell, right? Oh, there it is. He's grabbing his ski. There's definitely something with his binding. And he's trying. I don't know if he's trying to adjust a tension spring or what. This stuff is all so new. You can see there's no binding out in front of the toe of this. The binding happens under the foot like a speed skate. It may be the future of the sport, but it is new equipment, new technology. And when you have new technology, there's opportunity for problem.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on it. As that's the Canadian team lapped by our 2 leaders.
And then lap they have to retire for the day, so we'll be saying goodbye to our friends to the north from the United States, the Canadians, a young team trying to get some experience, but won't make it to the finish today. So Jacqueline seems to have his ski, boot, and binding in control. No more concern there, it seems like. Seemed a little preoccupied the first half of that loop with the problem. No, he goes again.
Now we're just taking a look back at I think it was a closer look.
Oh, that's what it is.
At that first time he reached down. So we've just got a bit better camera angle there, just to take an extra look at what he was adjusting.
I've seen this boot. I've not used it. It's very new. It was introduced late last year, but there's a dial, I believe, on that binding, and it might be a tension dial. And maybe he realized that the tension in the binding was a little looser or a little tighter than he wanted it to be. That could be what he's doing. He doesn't appear to be concerned about it beyond that, though. Like he just went down. I think he's just humbly going down and fixing it. It's an interesting piece of the technology puzzle, though, Ellen. The ski boot and binding, the market has been basically two different systems the entire history of modern ski racing, and a huge effort was made by those two companies to kind of standardize into one binding model. And then a third company comes along and throws this new speed skater type binding into the mix, and we're right back where we started a few years ago with two different binding systems again.
But it seems, certainly for now, to have all been corrected for Emilien Jacquelin. He's just quite content, sat behind the Biathlon coming into approaching our first shooting stage of the final leg.
It's interesting if you look, the Björn Sørum is on the same ski brand. I'm trying to see if they have the same, if they're doing the new binding system. A lot of the people on that brand have not chosen to use the new binding system because it's a big change. But it looks like Sørum is on the same binding as Jacquelin. Not sure though. I'm still checking. Yeah, I think they're both in the new system.
So our first two athletes into the range for the first of two final shooting stages. Keeping a keen eye on Slovenia behind them. It's been quite some time since they were last on the podium. Going back, I reckon, if my maths is correct, over 20 years.
Final prone shoot. And the two teams at the top of the world are where they should be.
So side by side, Emilien Jacquelin for Biathlon Sørum with the first two hits. Emilien Jacquelin with a miss and then another. The Biathlon Sørum will lead.
We have a theme here. The youngsters upstaging the old-timers. First, Perrault upstages Johannes Tingnes Bø, and then Sørum comes back and upstages Jacquelin. What's the gap going to be? Over 15 seconds now.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the clock here. 18.7 seconds.
Sørum barely gets a hit. That was so lucky that went down. 2 o'clock. Sørum all over the prone ring, but he gets him down. It was a little bit lucky, to be honest.
And luck not favouring the Frenchman next to him. So the Norwegians lead again.
Emilien Jacquelin, we talked about the circumstantial competitor. He has always been a circumstantial competitor, but mostly recently he's been kind of crumbling under the weight of these pressure situations, as we see. Lavro Planko, can he take the Slovenian team in for the bronze medal?
Yep, and potentially their first podium in over a decade, or 2 decades even. The group forming behind him though. And there's a miss. The German team going well. Miss now for Germany.
Navrath, the fastest skier of this final leg by about 2% of anybody in the shooting range right now.
Sebastian Samuelsson now away.
Jake Brown into the extra rounds, Czech Republic into the extra rounds as well.
There's our Switzerland, 2 misses.
Blanco now has Navrath on his tails, and that's not a welcome sight for him. He is not a match for the ski speed of Navrath.
Well, Danusa, who's on this final leg for Switzerland, was the final athlete over the line yesterday in the pursuit, but what a character. Cheered all the way and soaked up the atmosphere. And here are the struggles of the Frenchman.
Barely inside, he's just tripping the target, even on the extra round. It's still possible, still in control is Surum, but 13.7 seconds back. He's already made 5 back since the shooting range has Jacquelin.
Quick in pursuit, but he won't want to leave it to a sprint finish. He knows what the Biathlon can do. These two went head and head in the mixed relay and Contiolate, and of course Emilien Jacquelin with a drama at the end of yesterday's pursuit race. Will to keep this as clean and tidy as possible.
Yeah, he has to. He almost doesn't have a choice. If he misses more shots, he just can't get into the picture. I believe he will try to ski down the Norwegian by the finish. He's not getting there, not making a big dent into it though. 5 seconds in the last time check. We'll see what it is here. It was 13.7 seconds back. Has he made any more time? No, I think he's losing time.
Yep. Fractionally going backwards, less than a second though. So the pressure will be on the shoulders of Biathlon. 5 extra rounds so far for Norway as a team. As we're back with the battle for the final spot on the podium. Germany and Slovenia.
One penalty for Germany. You have to think they'd be a little more competitive. They've got 1 + 10, whereas Jacquelin, French have 8 extra rounds and the Norwegians only 5. If the Germans have any hope of winning a relay, they need to be much cleaner on the shooting range. Here's Sweden.
Yeah, look at this as well. Sebastian Samuelsson, we know just how quick he can be. And, well, he is flying through the first 1.5 laps of his final leg and has dragged Sweden back into 5th, and the gap of 5 seconds between Sebastian Samuelsson and 3rd place, Philip Navrath.
It's going to be a bit of a battle in that standing position for the bronze medal. Equally so for the gold, but Jacquelin trailing by just enough that Surum has about an extra round of breathing room to remain even.
And here is Biathlon Surum making his way under that final bridge and into the range.
Final shooting stage of the final relay of period 1. Down to this dramatic final standing between Surum and the Frenchman Jacquelin. Norway trying to strike back from the last relay where the French won in Contiolate.
And how the French would love to carry that extra momentum into the home race next week in Annecy, but Norway and Biathlon Surum with a miss.
Door open ever so slightly.
Another miss for Sørum and Norway as Emilian Jacquelin pulls up alongside him. But Bjørn Sørum will have to keep his cool. There's another one.
Jacquelin. Oh!
Miss for the Frenchman. But still the Norwegian is going round the penalty loop. It's advantage France once again. But can Jacquelin get this final shot away?
This is not over. This is not over. He's got to hit this, and he does.
He hits it. Well, what an excellent finish to this men's relay and our time here in Austria. Hochfilzen delivering, and Emilian Jacquelin looking to deny Norway once again atop the podium in the men's relay.
Even with Johannes Dingesbø back on form, it's not enough. Look at the gap. There's the gap to the victory. And I don't think that Bjørn Sørum has it in him to catch the great Frenchman from here with just 2.5 kilometers left.
No, look at how things have changed in terms of the record as well. Bjørn Sørum had shot clean to start with, dropping 3, a penalty loop. And overall now, Norway, 1 penalty loop, 8 extra rounds. France dipping into the extra rounds 10 times as well.
When you're in the position of Bjørn Sørum there, statistics just don't matter. You can throw statistics out the window. It's all about experience. And Bjørn Sørum clearly has not ever been in that kind of a situation in his career.
Oh, it's so hard as well when you get that first miss and then someone of the stature of Emilian Jacquelin pulls up next to you and you can hear his breathing, you can feel him next to you. And it is the Frenchman who held his nerve better. And after second yesterday, a dramatic end to the pursuit. He will lead France home for the victory. Back-to-back wins, bib number 1.
Now the race for the bronze. The 2 leaders are eons ahead.
Miss for Sebastian Samuelsson in Sweden, though. That's 2 misses.
Tight race between Sweden and Germany here.
Plunko with a miss as well.
Navrath with a miss on that 1 extra round. Sweden gets there first, and Navrath misses again. Sweden skiing away. They're going to find their way to the podium again.
Well, it'll be... there's not much in it between Slovenia and Sweden, but with Sebastian Samuelsson breathing down your neck, Lovro Plunko, well, that is not the biathlete you want behind you when you're about to embark on a final lap. And you can already see Sebastian Samuelsson moving around the side of the Slovenian.
Oh, it's a big miss. 3 shots to hit 2, and the poor Norwegian fan. Her face is it all. You can actually see Sørum jump on that shot on the trigger. Thinking about it, resetting. Oh, this is so painful.
And you can hear so much from the crowds, can't you, in that position? It's proven to be really challenging. You obviously have the advantage of when you hear the joy and the boost, but when you hear those groans behind you, as an athlete, you've really got to block that out.
So, a battle for the bronze medal position between a star of the sport from Sweden and a virtual unknown Lovro Plunko of Slovenia. Would be doing well just to hang with the Swede, and it would be a miracle if he could outsprint him for bronze medal. You can see Sebastian Samuelsson looking over his shoulders. Is this pesky Slovenian still with me?
Well, he'll try his best to shake him off, and you can see the gap starting to open. That really, of all the athletes, you don't want to be matched with on the final leg going out at the same time for the final lap is Sebastian Samuelsson. Again, an athlete we haven't seen a huge amount from this week. Performed and started really well in Kontiolahti, but hasn't had the same impact here in Hochfilzen. But where he has had an impact is dragging Sweden back into this. Just 2 flower ceremonies here, but unable to stand on the podium.
this relay is such a big part of the culture of biathlon. In other ski sports, relays kind of take a second seat to the individual competitions, but you can always see the national pride on the line week in and week out when they have these World Cup stops in the relays.
Well, still, there's Sebastian Samuelsson, who will stand on the podium for the first time this week after 2 flower ceremonies as he skis away for third. You have to imagine at this point Slovenia still will be on track if they can keep the gap back to Germany at this level, on track for their best finish in 4 years.
The United States sitting in 6th now. Jake Brown has solidified them in that spot.
Now you still have to see that's consistent from the USA. Started, now of course, bib number 6, 6th place finish after having to drag themselves back up from 12th. It'd still be a solid performance from the Americans.
Yeah, shooting still 10 extra rounds, about even with the French, but the United States, if they want to actually stay in the fight.
Well, here we go. Emilia and Jacqueline in the home straight. France top the standings once again. 2 out of 2 in terms of men's relay performances. And France, well, what a exceptional performance. So once again, topple Norway.
And this just makes the season that much more exciting to follow for the men's relay. It's 2 wins for France in a row, and Norway is going to have to try to figure out what they can do to match the blue.
And that was, of course, the signal made by Emilia and Jacqueline. 2 out of 2. Well, for Bjørn Sørlem, tried to fight, and he was given such a good position by Johannes Tingersbo. But once again, it is France who take top spot.
I'm not sure about this order. There's going to be a lot of second guessing of Bjørn Sørlem, but do you put Bjørn Sørlem in that situation to begin with? You could have had Johannes Tingersbo in there. I think Sørlem in the 3rd spot, just second guessing, looking back, armchair quarterbacking. I think I'd switch that. I'd switch that back next time. Put Johannes Tingersbo in the final leg again. I think they know that already. But poor Bjørn Sørlem has to be the guinea pig in that one.
And what a job from Sebastian Samuelsson to drag Sweden all the way up to a podium finish. Excellent skiing and keeping his composure in the range.
Started his leg 2:09 back. So he's inside his made time on Jacqueline. As Samuelsson up to the 29.1 kilometer mark. From 1:59.
Yep, and crossing the line currently, and that I'm certain will stand as the fastest leg 4 times. Sebastian Samuelsson, no surprise to see him take the additional prize money. Really strong performance just to get Sweden back up into it. Slovenia with their best finish in 4 years, crossing the line in 4th. No penalty loops, and actually performing better in the range than the French team who took the victory.
Yeah, the 6 penalty loops, or 6 extra rounds compared to all the other teams in the top 5, is what puts Slovenia in 4th. There's Jake Brown for the United States. Now they're going to finish 6th for a second straight relay, and that is some consistency from Team USA. They just need to clean up the shooting a little bit, and I think they have a shot at a podium in the near future. Nice
Bib 6, finishing 6th.
Distancing Italy in 7th, and Finland 8th. Solid performance from the Finnish team. 5th in the opener, 7th, 8th here.
Yep, Otto and Venius over the line. They formed incredibly well on home snow, and able to back it up with another top 10 finish again today.
3 lap teams out on the course as Czech Republic comes across the line in 9th. Czechia, I guess. I should get with the time and start calling them Czechia, I guess. Kind of had an opportunity there to challenge for the top 3, but tough shooting in the last standing stage for the Czech team. And then the final 3 teams all heading towards the finish.
Estonia, Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Switzerland over the line. Plenty of noise as Austria, wearing bib number 9, across the line in their home World Cup. Kazakhstan just behind them. Belgium over the line. You saw them up and down the order.
It's interesting. Every World Cup relay, you see some teams in the early going, and they surprise you at how far you can fall back. But when you have the penalty loops and the extra rounds, it just starts to really compound. And a lot of teams put their strongest skiers out early and just hope for the best from the later skiers. But a group that did it well today was Slovenia. They're 4th place. That was a great day for them.
Yeah, so close to a first podium in over 2 decades. But with that shooting performance in particular, they have to take so much encouragement from that for the World Cups to come.
That's common. Go ahead.
The best performing team in the range by quite some margin. Austria had the next best record, and Estonia, they were in 10th and 14th. But amongst the top 10, it was all the way of Slovenia in the range.
And the best way for a team to surprise is to have a strong team like Sweden struggle like they did, and that 3rd spot kind of stays open. France and Norway dueling out up in front of the field. Germany struggling a little bit, and then countries like the United States, Slovenia, Italy, Finland, they can all have a shot at a podium on any given day, but the circumstances have to be right.
So Latvia, the final team over the line, Lithuania, Canada and Slovakia all lapped. But France, once again, topping the standings in the men's relay. Well, Norway having won every World Cup race last season in the men's relays. They start with 2 second places. I think we asked the question after the relay in Kontiolahti, Chad, but that Norwegian dominance is faltering, and at this point you have to say more than just slightly now.
Yeah, when you lose 2 in a row, I mean, you could see it on the face of the Norwegians. They're not happy, of course, and I don't think any of them are going to blame Bjørn Sørum. It's his first time in that situation. I think what Norway was hoping to have by then was a good enough lead for Bjørn Sørum to not have to face Emilie Jacquelin a one-on-one, and it just didn't happen. The Norwegians, they had a penalty loop from Bjørn Sørum, but they only had 8 extra rounds. And even though Johannes Tingus Bø looked really good skiing, maybe Lagrid and Tarjei Bø were a little tired today. Makes for some great storytelling, though.